Ciao friends, it's Liz from SimpleItalianCooking.com. So glad you're here today. I have a great recipe for you, and it is how to do garlic roasted almonds. And it is delicious. So easy. And if you think you have to be an expert cook to know how to do something like garlic roasted almonds, think again, because I can make them and they take less than 30 minutes, and most of that time, actually it probably takes more like 20 minutes, and most of that time is when they're in the oven. The only thing you really have to be careful of is that you don't overcook them, but I'm going to show you how to avoid that. So before we get started, if you like my videos, if you like this type of topic, please give me a thumbs up. And also, feel free to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Always looking for subscribers because we got great recipes that are coming out, and I want to make sure that you get notified. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So to make garlic roasted almonds, all you need are some almonds. And for this recipe and the quantities I'm giving you, and remember, you can always adjust to your preference, but I'm giving you a baseline to go by, what I really enjoy. And this is 1 cup of almonds, and these are raw. We're going to be using some garlic powder. So all we need for that is 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm using Himalayan pink salt. Oh, and you need 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm using unsalted butter because we're already going to be adding in some salt. So if all you have is salted butter, just reduce the salt that you're adding because you won't need it, okay? All right, so to get started, I'm using my induction burner, and all you need is a little tiny saucepan like this. Put it on low, do not do it high. All we're going to do is melt the butter, add the salt and garlic, toss it with the almonds so it's really well coated, and put it on our baking sheet. So we're going to go ahead and add the butter, get that melted. And I'm just using a regular spoon, kitchen spoon. You don't need any fancy equipment for this, which is another reason why it's such a great recipe. So easy. This recipe is very, very similar to my roasted garlic pecans. So you can check that video out too if you like. But the same principle applies, and you can use them as, appetizers. Put them in a little bowl with a spoon because you don't want, they're going to be buttery. So you really don't want people to be walking around your house with buttery fingers touching everything. Unless you're okay with that, then that's fine. Okay, so this is already melted. So I'm going to turn off the oven or the cooktop here. And I'm going to go ahead and add the salt. And I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic powder and just mix it with the spoon. And you want to mix it before you add the almonds because you really want it to be as evenly incorporated as possible. And by the way, you want to be heating your oven to 300 degrees. I'm using a smart oven, and you could actually check out my video on that. I did a whole review on the Breville smart oven with air fryer. Now, unlike pecans, almonds don't have as high an oil content, so for whatever reason, I don't know all the science behind it, but I'm assuming that's part of why I find that when doing the roasted almonds instead of the roasted pecans, it has the garlic seems to have a stronger flavor on these, and I'm not sure exactly why. So if you happen to know why, because I do the same quantities in both, I keep it easy. But you can go ahead and adjust quantities. If you are a little concerned about the garlic, pull it back a little bit. If you love garlic, go ahead and add a little bit more. All right, so that's good, and I'm just going to go ahead and add in the cup of almonds. And at first you're going to think, this is not going to coat a cup of almonds. Well, just keep mixing it for about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. You really want to get it incorporated, and you want to get that butter all over those almonds. You'll notice that the more you stir, some of the butter and garlic seasoning will begin to clump on your spoon. No big deal. Just get another spoon, scrape it off, and keep stirring. Okay, so That was easy, right? All you got to do is dump this onto here. Now, I am using parchment paper because it makes cleanup really, really easy. But honestly, if you don't have any parchment paper, don't even worry about it. Not a big deal. This is coated with butter. You don't need to grease the pan or anything. It's not going to stick. It just makes cleanup a little bit easier. Don't worry if you see big clumps of garlic and salt. It's expected. All right, so we have the oven preheated to 300 degrees. We're going to bake them for 15 minutes. Now, at 7 minutes, you got to go in and you got to just kind of toss them with your spoon, with a spatula. It's actually really easy to use. And you just try and flip them if you can. Don't get all perfectionist about it. And you just want to make sure that nothing's burning. It shouldn't be at 300 at that point. And then you're going to put it in and bake it for the rest. Keep an eye on it. Oven temperatures vary. So maybe the way mine bakes might be a little less than the way yours is. Maybe mine isn't calibrated right. Maybe yours isn't calibrated right. So just keep an eye on it and make sure that you're not burning them. When they get real fragrant and you see them sizzling, that's pretty much when you know they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And at 7 minutes, I'm going to give them a good toss. And then at another 7 minutes of baking, I'm going to take them out. And I know they're going to be the way that I like them. Everybody has a different way of baking. Some people are going to say, oh, no, you got to do it lower at 200. You got to do it at 275. You got to do it at 350 and make it faster. I like the middle ground. I go 300. That works for me. It's easy. It's convenient. And I'm not having to check the oven every 5 minutes for 45 minutes. So, all right. See you in a minute. Okay, our garlic roasted almonds are out of the oven and they have cooled. So, and I want to tell you a tip. I think they taste better when they're cool versus when you first take them out and they're warm and hot. Besides, you can burn yourself when you're eating them when they're hot because of the oils. But before you make a judgment call on whether you think you should add more garlic, add more salt, reduce the garlic, let it cool because the flavors will kind of mellow out and blend. And what you're looking for is for them to be crunchy, but not so hard that you can't bite through it. You're going to break your tooth. So these are really great, and they taste delicious. They're very good. All right. So if you decide, well, how do you make just regular roasted almonds instead of having it garlic roasted almonds? Just omit the garlic powder, okay? And how can you use this? Well, I've got a salad here I'm going to be eating for lunch, okay? Just add them in, serve them. And I'll tell you what, this is a really great idea to do for holiday dinners or holiday lunches, whatever you want to do. Because when you want to take something and just up it a notch, this is a great way to do it. And by the way, you can freeze these for like up to 6 months. Honestly, I'd probably do it longer. They can stay in the fridge for about, I'd say no more than a week. Airtight container. And that's it. So I really hope that you enjoy this recipe. If you have your own tips for how to roast almonds, put them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, okay? And I'm sure our followers would too. Well, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a like and a subscribe so we can keep you updated. And for more recipes, join my newsletter at simpleitaliancooking.com. All right, well, thank you so much. Have a great, wonderful, blessed day. Grazie e ciao.